Imagine you're looking up at the night sky, and somewhere, hidden between two unremarkable constellations, there is a darkness so complete, so massive, that our entire solar system, every planet, every moon, every inch of space from the Sun to Pluto, would vanish inside it, not destroyed, not torn apart, just gone, swallowed whole, with room to spare. This isn't science fiction. This is a real object. And the terrifying part? It exists at a scale our physics was never designed to explain. Its official name is TON 618. But names feel small for something like this, because TON 618 isn't just a black hole. It's a violation. A cosmic anomaly that should not, by our best understanding of the universe, exist in the form it does, at the age it does. And yet, there it is, blazing across 18 billion light years of space, a monument to everything we don't yet understand. By the time this video ends, you're going to see the universe differently, not because of one number or one fact, but because of what TON 618 reveals about the hidden rules this cosmos runs on, rules that might be breaking. In 1957, astronomers at the Tonantzintla Observatory in Mexico were cataloging the sky. Routine work: point the telescope, record what you see, move on. When they reached a faint blue smudge between the constellations Canes Venatici and Coma Berenices, they logged it as a star and moved on, just another dot in an ocean of dots. But 2 decades later, new instruments arrived, spectrographs that could decode the chemical fingerprint of light itself. And when scientists turned them on that same star, what came back didn't make sense. The light was wrong, shifted, warped, stretched in ways that stars simply don't produce. It wasn't a star at all. It was something from the edge of the observable universe, 18 billion light years away. The light hitting those instruments had been traveling since before our solar system existed, since before Earth. Since a time when the universe was barely a quarter of its current age, and galaxies were still figuring out what they wanted to be. That faint smudge in the sky was the most distant, most powerful thing ever recorded, a quasar. And at its heart, a black hole so large, it has never stopped haunting the people who study it. To understand TON 168, you first need to understand what powers it. Picture a black hole the size of a solar system. Now surround it with a feeding disk, hundreds of millions of miles of gas, dust, and shredded stellar material spiraling inward at nearly the speed of light. As this material piles up, it collides, it compresses, it heats. We're not talking about hot like fire. We're talking about temperatures that reach into the tens of millions of degrees. At that temperature, matter doesn't just glow. It screams across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, visible light, all of it pouring outward simultaneously. The result is something so bright, it makes entire galaxies look like birthday candles. That is a quasar, the most luminous sustained phenomenon in the universe. And TON 618 is among the most powerful quasars ever discovered. Its energy output is equivalent to 100 trillion suns, all burning at once, all focused into a single cosmic beacon, visible from nearly the beginning of time. But here's the part that should stop you cold. All that light, all that impossible blinding radiance is not the main event. It's the exhaust, the byproduct. The real story is what's generating it. And to get there, we need to talk about what's at the center. 66 billion solar masses. Read that again slowly. 66 billion times the mass of our Sun, compressed into a single gravitational object. For context, the black hole at the center of our own Milky Way, Sagittarius A, is considered enormous. It weighs 4 million solar masses. Scientists spent decades confirming it existed. It is a cosmic behemoth by any standard. TON 618 outweighs it by a factor of 16,000. If Sagittarius A is a great white shark, TON 618 is a creature for which we don't have a name. The event horizon, the point of no return, the outer edge of the black hole's shadow, spans 400 billion kilometers. Our entire solar system, Mercury to Pluto, stretches roughly 12 billion kilometers, end to end. TON 618's event horizon is 30 times wider than that. You could drop our solar system into it and lose it. But what makes this truly unsettling isn't the size, it's the behavior of space around it. Close to the event horizon of TON 618, reality as we know it begins to unravel. First, light bends, not because anything touches it, but because the mass of 66 billion suns curbs space-time so severely that photons, things with no mass, moving at the universe's ultimate speed limit, are forced to travel in arcs. Some curve back, some spiral into orbits. The result is a glowing halo of captured light around the black hole's shadow, a photon ring, light trapped in a loop, circling forever. Second, time slows. This isn't metaphor, this is measurable, proven physics. Near extreme gravity, time itself runs at a different rate. An astronaut hovering near TON 618's event horizon might experience 1 hour, while thousands of years pass for the rest of the universe. They wouldn't feel different. Their heartbeat would feel normal. But when they returned, if they could, everyone they knew would be gone, millennia gone. Third, radiation. The accretion disk surrounding TON 618 is blasting out deadly energy in every direction. But something strange happens to that radiation near the event horizon. Gravity stretches it, redshifts it. Light that begins as brilliant ultraviolet slowly dims, shifted into infrared, then into wavelengths the human eye can't even detect. The closer you get, the more the universe around you fades to deep, blood-soaked red, and then to black. And beyond the event horizon, we have equations, we have theories, but we don't have knowledge. At the singularity, the mathematical point at the center where density becomes infinite, our best tools collapse. The equations produce answers like infinity and undefined, which in physics means we don't know what happens here. No one does. That's not dramatic flair. That's the honest frontier of human understanding. Here's where TON 618 stops being just impressive and starts being genuinely disturbing to cosmologists. We see TON 618 as it was 10.4 billion years ago, because that's how long its light has taken to reach us. The universe, at that point, was young, roughly 3 billion years old. Galaxies were still forming. The first generations of stars were barely finished exploding. And yet, somehow, a black hole had already reached 66 billion solar masses. Think about what that means. In less time than it takes for a solar system like ours to fully form, something had managed to consume, accumulate, and consolidate the mass equivalent of 66 billion stars in a universe that was still, cosmically speaking, a toddler. Our models, our best mathematical models, don't fully account for this. Standard black hole growth theory suggests supermassive black holes form from stellar remnants and gradually grow by feeding and merging over billions of years. But TON 618 grew too fast, way too fast. Some researchers suggest the early universe had conditions we no longer have: denser gas clouds, more chaotic merger environments, primordial black holes seeded directly from the Big Bang itself. Others suggest we're missing something fundamental in our understanding of how gravity works at cosmic scales. None of these explanations are settled. TON 618 sits there, 18 billion light years away, a 66 billion solar mass question mark, and it is winning. There's one more thing about TON 618 that most people miss, and it changes how you should think about objects like this. TON 618 is not just an object, it's a tool. When its ancient light travels across 18 billion light years to reach us, it passes through clouds of intergalactic gas. That gas absorbs specific frequencies of light, like fingerprints. When we analyze those fingerprints, we can map the chemistry of the universe in its infancy. What elements existed, how dense the cosmos was, where matter clustered, where the first galaxies grew. Without powerful quasars like TON 618, we'd be trying to understand the early universe blind. These blazing engines, terrifying as they are, act as cosmic flashlights illuminating the dark ages of the universe that would otherwise be invisible to us. Every time we study TON 1618, we're not just studying a black hole, we're reading a history book, one written in light, one that took billions of years to arrive. Here is the thought that has stayed with me since I first encountered TON 618. When we look at it, when those photons finally complete their 10 billion year journey and land on our telescopes, we are not seeing what TON 618 is. We are seeing what it was. A frozen snapshot of a moment so ancient that the Earth didn't exist yet. What is TON 618 right now? We genuinely don't know. Maybe it's still feeding, still blazing. Maybe the quasar phase has ended, and it sits quiet at the center of a dark, ancient galaxy, its accretion disk, long consumed. Maybe it merged with another black hole and grew even larger, reaching scales we haven't yet imagined. Or maybe, and this is the part that cosmologists don't like to linger on, maybe it keeps growing. And the universe has more objects like it, objects we haven't found yet, sitting in corners of space-time beyond our current reach. The universe gave us TON 618, and TON 618 gave us humility, not the comfortable kind, the kind where you realize the cosmos is operating at scales and speeds and rules that our entire civilization has only just begun to notice. We didn't discover TON 618. We just finally looked in the right direction. If TON 618 breaks your brain the way it breaks mine, drop a comment below with just one word. How does this make you feel? I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper, we're doing a full series on the most extreme objects in the universe. Subscribe and hit the bell, because the next one is even more disturbing than this.